Hello, beautiful people of the internet. Thanks for tuning in again to Earth to Claudette. So, we are in the month of October. What's been on my mind is like this whole Halloween thing. I think that as I have matured, as a person, as an adult, and also growing in Christ, I just been wondering why are people so intrigued with being afraid? Why is that a thing? Why do you want to be afraid? Why do people watch these horror movies and revel in the idea of creepy crawlies Halloween? I just really don't get it. I know that when I was younger, I liked Halloween. I wasn't that big on church and everything when I was younger. I would go to church, my mom made us go. I think I had an awareness and a reverence for God, subconsciously. In a certain way, I did express it, but growing up in New York City, and my parents weren't that strict about different things, so I was exposed to a whole lot, right? So when Halloween would come along, I liked it because it was candy time. I had some next door neighbors and their parents let them trick or treat. So the thing that my parents didn't allow me to do was to trick or treat. If we tricked or treat, it was in our apartment area. We lived in this house that had 3 stories and we had 3 groups of neighbors. So that was the extent of any trick or treating that I would have done at that time. So it was only people that we knew that I would knock on their door. And so basically, as I got older, I liked going to my neighbor's house because they were able to trick or treat and they would bring all this candy. And I remember this one time, it was the first time that I went trick or treating, and we went to all these stores. So my best friends at the time, their parents were, really their mother was super smart, so she took us to the stores, the stores in Brooklyn. And I remember we went to this bakery and they gave us these fresh baked donuts. It was amazing. And we only went to the stores, we avoided people's houses. And I remember we came back with all this stuff, candy and treats and stuff, and it was amazing to me. My mother, she never folded. If I didn't happen to be at their house, during Halloween or something, then, oh, you're staying inside and I guess you're gonna just watch spooky movies on TV or whatever. But I know that, my siblings were older than me, so that's why they wouldn't, go trick-or-treating with me or initiate that. But what they would do is watch scary movies. Now, I'm not sure which sibling it was, either my brother or my sister, that liked scary movies the most, but I know that we used to watch it, and they are about a decade plus older than me. And so they would watch these movies like Dollhouse and Freddy Krueger and all these things, and I'll be there my 5-year-old self, shook, afraid to sleep at night. I'll be sleeping with a Bible over my chest. And so, that was kind of the foundation of my interaction with scary movies. But the older I got, I became less fazed by them and actually sort of intrigued because it was a thing to watch them if it was advertised as cool, or you had a whole bunch of promos and things. And that was the era of the Screams, where they were merging comedy with horror flicks, and Jason, and it was cool to see whatever Jason 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They had so many versions of Jasons that came out, right? So I was kind of accustomed to watching horror films and kind of just looking at them and being but now that I've gotten older, I realize what is the point of going to see a scary film? Why would you pay money to feel discomforted? Why do you want to watch a movie that would, make you afraid of like walking into your apartment or your house with the lights off, or make you feel like you got to keep doubling back to make sure no one is in your car once you get in. Like, why do we pay to feel discomforted? Like, I don't understand that. To me, it's a bit masochistic, like, or sadistic. I don't see the joy in that. And I feel like a lot of that is tied to Halloween. You know, like, I don't get it. Like, why is that an aesthetic? Like, why is that a thing that you want to feel like terror and then laugh like, oh my God, that was scary. That was so good. I don't get it. I don't get it. And now that I'm older, I feel even more clearer. I don't think it's cool, you know, at all. And I think the people that enjoy like films that are horror films and enjoy Halloween and stuff, like maybe like they don't know like the themes and stuff are real. Like some of those situations that could actually happen to them, like, and they think it's cool. But then there's the other people that practice that stuff. Like, I don't know if they watch it because they enjoy it or it's inspiration for them because that's their realm. But for the others who are in the middle, who aren't particularly spiritually astute or have not asked themselves why they enjoy this type of content, like, I don't get it. I don't think it's cool. And it's not that like I'm afraid of it, but it's like, why? Why do I want to watch entertainment that would make me potentially feel afraid? Like, God didn't give us that spirit. Like, if you really need your word, why are you engaging that? Why are you opening up the door to night terrors and all that stuff? Because when it gets real and you can't stop it, you know, who are you gonna call? You're gonna call ministers, and you're gonna call pastors and people to pray for you. But for real, like, I don't get it. I don't get the aesthetic. So please let me know your thoughts on this. Why do people like to be afraid? Why do they pay to be disturbed by engaging horror movies or engaging like this whole Halloween thing? Like, outside of the, I guess, costume, like the fun costumes and stuff, but the whole ghoulishness is weird, man. Like, why do you like that? So let's talk about it. Like, I could get the aspect of the cute costumes, but even that, when you really break that down, it's like, you know, like, what's wrong with your personality? Are you expressing a part of yourself that you're afraid to show on any other day? Probably. Because people make these choices about costumes and it speaks volumes about who they are sometimes. Like, yeah, some of it's fun and cool, and like, look at the artwork, like the makeup that went into it and the creativity. But like, I don't know. I feel like you should wear what you want to wear any day. I mean, I am a city person, so New Yorker to be exact. So people dress however they want 365 days out of the year. So I feel like if you think you a ballerina, like in real life, I feel like you should be able to wear a tutu whenever you want, whatever costume you want, and you don't have to wait for Halloween. But anyway, that's just me. So please let me know in the comments your thoughts on this. Like, if you have a theory or an idea about why people like to be afraid by watching scary movies or practicing Halloween, let me know in the comments down below. All right. But other than that, I hope you have a blessed October, because if you're watching me again, that means that you are inclined to the Spirit of the Lord, and that you like prayer and you like Jesus things. Okay. So I pray that, you know, you just have a blessed, Jesus-filled October. Okay. Have a great day.